Hey, English 10. How are you guys doing? It's Mr. Caberline. I hope that this message finds you all doing well, being healthy, safe, practicing social distancing. Um, so I wanted to send a quick message to you, record a quick message with 3 points here at the end of our first week of distance learning. First point that I'm going to talk about is quarter 3 grades. You probably saw the post that I put in Google Classroom after the Loudoun County Public Schools school board meeting the other day where they issued guidelines on quarter 3 grades. I want to walk through what that means for our class. Second thing I want to talk about is this first week of distance learning. Um, Talk about some of the things that I thought worked really well, some things that maybe didn't work as well, and kind of just recap that and maybe get some feedback from you guys. And then the third thing I want to do is look ahead. So we have spring break next week. Yes. I'll be taking spring break just like you guys. So if you don't get a reply from me next week, you'll know why. You'll probably get out of office type replies from me. I hope that you use that week just like I will to recharge your batteries, refresh, and be ready for our home stretch of learning that will be coming up when we return. But in that third point, beyond spring break, what is it going to look like April 13th, 14th, and beyond when we come back? So, quarter 3 grades, recapping week 1 of distance learning, looking ahead. Okay. So let's start with quarter 3 grades. So I'm going to take myself off the screen here, and let's take a look in Google Classroom. So this is third block, but I think all blocks are basically going to look the same, your Google Classroom stream here. So 2 days ago, I posted this update after the school board meeting and listed some of the relevant things regarding the policy for quarter 3 grades. So what does it mean? Well, it means that the last day that we had physical school, March 11th, is the last day for grades. So any assignment that had come before that date is included in quarter 3 grades. Any assignment, even if it had already been assigned to you, but the due date was after that, will not be in quarter 3 grades. Now, I know that's a bummer because a lot of you guys have worked really hard on your research paper, the draft, and the final copy, your IRP mini assignment number 2, your warm-up log 2, all of those things I am going to provide feedback on, but they will not be graded. Our last grade for our class then is the research paper outline, okay? So that is the final grade for our quarter 3. Okay, so yeah, that's something I wanted to point out here to all of you. In regard to quarter 3 grades, if you've got questions, you can reach out to me. If there is I've tried to reach out to every student who has missing work to try to help you improve that quarter 3 grade, and also have reached out to some students who have opportunities to redo an assignment potentially. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the second point beyond grades, which is week 1 of distance learning. So I posted a few different things in here that didn't have any work attached to it, like National Poetry Month. And then I posted things in here that did have work attached to it, like the HyperDoc. Okay, so let's take a look at that HyperDoc. So here it is for you and your class. And the left column, the blue column here, was all things related to the research paper, which a lot of you guys have done a good job this week of turning in your first draft or your final draft. Those of you that were behind hopefully have gotten the missing components in, but you know that that outline is the last grade, so that needs to be in. That was the first step here for this week. If you have not done it, you have until April 17th to turn in any missing work from quarter 3. And then after that, the grades go in. If you have been working on your first draft and you're hearing me say, oh, there's no grade involved, then you might be thinking, I'm done with it. Forget it. But I would encourage you to still submit it in Turnitin. either your first draft or your final draft, because this is how I can give you feedback to help you improve as a writer. And I want to give you that feedback. I read a lot of first drafts this week and wrote feedback to a lot of students and then emailed them to let them know I'd read it. I'm going to try to continue that when we come back from spring break, offering more feedback to students on those assignments, like that first draft or like your IRPs that you guys submitted to give you that feedback. So what did I think worked well with the HyperDoc? I think you guys, from what I'm seeing, have been doing a good job of communicating with me about what you're doing. If you have not already done so, we click on this HyperDoc here, where I was just looking at this document, but there is a check-in form. And so what does it look like? Well, it looks like this. You're going to put your name, you're going to put what block you're in, and you're going to check all the things that you worked on this week. For what you checked, you're going to give me any quick description of what you worked on, not super long, maybe a sentence to 3 sentences at most, and then just a few things that you might have learned this week, okay? So if you have not already done so during spring break week here, please go in, fill out that quick form. That will help me figure out what's working and what's not working. One thing that I think did not work well in this week was my attempt to have virtual office hours. I offered these all week long, specific segments where I would be sitting at my computer for that hour, and you could go into this document right here. You could type the date, your name, your question, and I would immediately right then type a reply. And as you can see, this document is for all 3 of my English 10 classes, and there is not a single question in there. Instead, a lot of you guys were emailing me, which is great too, but this is a good resource if you have a question that is general that you think everyone in the class could benefit from, because then in one place, everyone can see those answers. It didn't work this first week, and I'm going to try to come up with a new system, something that will work better. Sometimes things we try just don't work, and that's what kind of happened with this here. So we've talked about Q3 grades, talked about week 1 of distance learning. Let's talk about looking ahead to what's coming up in the future, okay? So I mentioned some of these dates. April 17th is the last date to submit any missing work, to complete any reassessments, okay? April 24th is when your Q3 grades will go into the grade book. I have, like I said, reached out to all students and parents for students that have missing work. I CC'd your parents on those emails. I wanted to mention what's going to happen when we come back from spring break. So April 13th and 14th will be training days for all of your teachers. We're learning about yet another new online resource that we're going to use for teaching for the remainder of the school year called Edmentum. As a result, on the 13th and 14th, I'm supposed to be providing some sort of assignment for you guys, some sort of learning. And I will post an assignment on time management and organization in the digital world, which I think is something that is relevant that you can use right now. Because if you're like me, it's kind of tough to organize all the stuff that's coming at us with this online and digital learning. I will also post some more warm-up poems that, as you know from the HyperDoc, I posted 4 this week. These 4 right here, Making Jump Shots, Today, Truant, and More Than Enough. I'll post a few more poems so you can go into your log, which is it's right down here in your stream, or another easy way to find it is just to click classwork and click warm up, and all the poems will be in this folder, and your log is right there. So yeah, that's what I'm planning to do for April 13th and 14th, and then beyond that, you'll get more information from me about what the county has in terms of Edmentum and English work for the rest of Q4. All right, so last thing. We are at spring break. I know this is probably not the spring break you anticipated. It definitely isn't what I anticipated we'd be doing now. But I want to let you know that I'm thinking about you guys. I miss you. I hope that you are being safe. I hope you're being smart, practicing the social distancing, staying healthy. And I look forward to seeing what happens when we come back from spring break with this educational journey. We've got roughly 7 weeks or so when we come back. Let's make these 7 strong weeks of learning. I know it's not going to be the same type of learning we have in the classroom, but keep on communicating with me. Keep on reaching out if you have questions. And like I said, let's make this a good, strong close to your 10th grade English class. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.